The celery bog is a rich community of animal activity. A community is all the different animals living in a same area, such as the bog. This community has a population of mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and insects. Every day they interact, sharing or competing for resources like food or shelter. Frogs and toads are species of amphibians. Amphibians have a smooth, wet-feeling skin, lay jelly-like eggs in the water, and do not have scales, claws, feathers, or hair. Amphibians are cold-blooded. Also called ectotherms, they have to warm their body by laying in the sun or huddling together. Mammals, like people, are endotherms. We produce heat by digestion, which makes energy for the body. Frogs are said to have two lives, the larval stage and the adult stage. Frogs must lay their eggs in the water so they will remain moist. Frogs often lay their eggs in vernal ponds. A vernal pond doesn't have any fish, which would eat the eggs. When the eggs are laid, the outside of the egg is very soft, like jelly. The frog grows within the egg, and when it hatches, it's called a tadpole or a pollywag. Tadpoles are mostly herbivores or plant eaters. A tadpole isn't a frog yet. It swims in the water waiting for its arms and legs to grow and breathes in the water with gills, like a fish. When a frog develops its legs and lungs, it's ready to go on land. It's now called a froglet. A froglet becomes an adult frog when it loses its tail as it grows. A grown frog is a carnivore eating insects or worms. Even though frogs eat insects, most of the frogs only have small teeth at the top of their mouth. To help with eating, many frogs push their eyeballs down into the roof of their mouth as they swallow to help push insects down their throat. Turtles also live in the bog and are a species of reptile. Reptiles have leathery scaled eggs which do not require them to be near water. Reptiles are also cold-blooded ectotherms, like frogs and toads. Many species of turtles live near water, and some never leave it at all except to lay eggs. While many amphibians need to stay near the water, a reptile's dry skin keeps it moisture and allows many of them to travel further from the water. Turtles do not lay their eggs in the water, but in a nearby nest, which the female excavates. When turtles hatch, they are already tiny adults. They do not have to grow into the stages like a frog. The temperature of the nest determines the turtle's sex. If the temperature is colder, the hatchlings will be male, and if the temperature is warmer, they will be female. The temperature range is different for each species. With most reptiles and amphibians, their parents do not help raise the young once they are born. When winter arrives, frogs and turtles have similar strategies. They hibernate in wet, muddy burrows or at the bottom of lakes. During hibernation, they lower their body temperatures and wait for spring, living off the energy of their bodies. When the spring sunshine warms the ground, they emerge well-rested and quite hungry. Birds also share the bog with frogs and turtles, although they may not live there all year round. Birds and mammals are warm-blooded and get energy from digestion. The celery bog area has many types of habitats: deciduous forest, savanna, prairie, and several types of wetland. Each habitat attracts different species of birds. Some songbirds prefer the wooded areas, where they can search for seeds, berries, or insects. Water birds, such as geese, ducks, and herons, prefer the wetlands, eating underwater plants, fish, insects, or even frogs. Each habitat provides various components for food, shelter, and nesting. All species of birds lay eggs. During the breeding season, a bird will typically lay one egg per day. The eggs in a nest are called a clutch. Many baby birds are born very helpless and must be fed and protected until they learn to fly. The amount of time it takes for eggs to hatch and fledge or leave the nest varies by species. Many species of birds migrate, usually moving to warmer areas in the winter. These birds often have stopovers, or feeding grounds that they can stop and rest and eat. The flight paths that migratory birds take are called flyways. Areas like the celery bog are very important to birds, whether they are permanent residents or just passing through.